Su Jingxing could not be bothered to discuss a plan with the people of the Stone Annihilation Alliance. He clicked on these posts and quickly read through them. Once he did, he realized that on the southern bank of the Sky Water River Southern District, under the mud flat, a corrupt official named Jean Mushin had a tomb. Inside the tomb were countless treasures that Jean Mushin had collected when he was alive. Martial arts, money, weapons, jewelry, elixirs. There was all kinds of good stuff. Most importantly, pictures spoke the truth. There were many pictures in the post. In the pictures, a few people had picked up several precious antiques on the mud flat. One of them even picked up a treasure weapon. Although it was a treasure weapon with a chip, it was still a treasure weapon. Even if it was chipped, it was still worth more than $1 million. Apart from this, the post also introduced Jean Mushin's life. This fellow was a high-ranking official of the Changyang prefecture more than 200 years ago. He was most greedy. He had plundered countless treasures when he was still alive, but after his death, they were nowhere to be found. Through the clues, words, and pictures, the post clearly pointed out that the treasure left behind by Jean Mushin was under the mud flat on the bank of the Sky Water River. Treasure of a corrupt official. **T, it's clearly a diversion. The surname, Shur, translates literally to stone. Regardless of whether the treasures left behind by Jean Mushin were real or not. If this matter was exposed at this time, it would definitely be the Shur family manipulating things from behind the scenes to interfere with public opinion and divert the public's attention. After all, persons born during a hour of a day of a month of a year were in the minority. Apart from their parents, friends, and relatives who were concerned about the subsequent developments, the others were basically just here to join in the fun and weren't too serious about it. Treasures were different. According to the leaked information, the tomb left behind by Jean Mushin, a change in the underground water level impacted the treasure chamber and brought the treasures to the surface, mixed in the mud flat. As long as people searched the mud, there would be a high chance of picking up treasures. This was a treasure hunt that everyone could participate in. Once the news spread, the entire city would be in an uproar. At that time, no one would have the mood to pay attention to those who were born during a hour of a day of a month of a year. Digging for treasures on the mud flat would be the right thing to do. Therefore, Su Jingxing quickly deleted the post and hacked into the back end of the website where the post had appeared. He blocked the related links and keywords and sent a message to the Stone Annihilation Alliance, asking them to mobilize their forces to resolve the spread of television, radio, and newspapers, cutting off the Shur family's counterattack from the source. This was also an opportunity to gauge how much secular capacity the Stone Annihilation Alliance had. They had many people, but not many martial artists. Su Jingxing wanted to see how many people they had and how much power they could unleash. With him controlling the web, the news of the corrupt official's treasure was quickly suppressed. The TV, radio, and newspapers would have to wait. Since the Shur family had launched a counterattack, these channels would not be absent. At night, Su Jingxing was satisfied to discover that the public was still unaware about the corrupt official's treasure. Everyone was still talking about bloodline martial artists and the dangers of being a girl born during a hour of a day of a month of a year. Good. Su Jingxing praised and sent a message to the Stone Annihilation Alliance. Ding! A notification sounded in the closed office. The round-faced girl, who was so tired that she had collapsed on the table, subconsciously raised her head to take a look. She immediately cried out in surprise and excitedly said, "The legend has replied, he said that we did a good job." Who? Hearing this, the others who had perked up their ears immediately let out a breath. They recovered significantly from their fatigue. **CK, we threw in almost $200 million. If it doesn't work, we might as well just disband, the messy-haired man sighed. Such a situation must not be made permanent. We used half of our reserves at one go. If we do it again, 5 years of our savings will be gone. The bearded man sighed. We can earn more money. At most, it will take us some time. Most importantly, for this operation, we have mobilized all the people we can mobilize. These people have basically been exposed now, and we will face the Shi family's revenge at any time. The oval-faced woman said in a deep voice, what to do next must be decided immediately. Yes, that's the most important. Does the legend have any further instructions? The man with messy hair asked nervously. Not yet. The round-faced girl shook her head. Then, she whispered, do you want me to ask? Let me. The oval-faced woman stood up and walked forward. Ding! A notification sounded. The round-faced girl turned and gaped. What's wrong? The oval-faced woman who walked over was puzzled. When she saw the contents of the chat box on the computer screen, her expression also changed. What's wrong? Say something, pressed the messy-haired man. The others also wore grave expressions. They stood up and surrounded the screen. The oval-faced woman took a deep breath and said, he wants us to kill Shi Yenkong. What? Exclamations rose from the crowd. What does he mean? What does this fourth-grade big shot mean? Is he telling us to tempt fate? In order to cooperate with him, we have already exposed most of our people. Now that these people are facing the threat of being killed at any time, he still wants us to kill Shi Yenkong. What is the meaning of this? Someone jumped up and shouted angrily. That's right. Shi Yenkong is a 6th-grade martial artist, and he has a group of martial artists in the lower ranks following him every day. We only have one 6th-grade martial artist. Are we going to let Elder Huang perish with Shi Yenkong for him? I don't think it's that simple. This 4th-grade expert must have other intentions. Other intentions? What other intentions? He just wants to send us to our doom and use our lives to destroy some of the sideline characters of the Shi family so that he can watch the show from the side. That's too much. If he's here to watch the show, would he expose the secret of the Shi family's bloodline? And even destroy a base of theirs outside the city? Whether he's the one who destroyed the secret base still needs to be deliberated. Enough. A loud roar resounded through the office, suppressing everyone's clamors. The man with a hideous scar on his face shouted with a somber look, shut up. Look at all of you, look at all of you. He hasn't even told us the exact plan yet, but you all are already so impatient and agitated that you're jumping up and down. If we really take action, wouldn't you all be in chaos? Silence. The office fell into silence. After being reprimanded, some people felt ashamed, while others remained indignant. When the oval-faced woman, the scarred man, and the bearded man saw this, they couldn't help but sigh. Although they weren't quite a disorderly mob, many people in the alliance could not get anything done. Playing dirty tricks in the dark was no problem, but once they were put in the open to face the Shi family, their true colors were immediately revealed. Fear was understandable, but fear was not an issue either. However, if they were already in a mess before the war even started, what achievements could they talk about? Destroy the Shi family? With such a mentality, it would be better for them to leave Qinghe City as early as possible. I understand everyone's feelings. The oval-faced woman took a deep breath and broke the silence. If you're really afraid, it's not too late to back out now and leave Qinghe City. Sister Qian, that's not what I meant. Do you think that the oath of alliance we issued when we invited you to join us was fake? The oval-faced woman did not wait for the person to speak before she interrupted coldly, to destroy the Shi family, we will not hesitate to die. To destroy the Shi family, we will not hesitate to die. Back then, you shouted the slogan loud and clear. What about now? Have you forgotten about it? Have you completely forgotten about it? The person who spoke blushed and lowered his head, not daring to say anything. The oval-faced woman did not press him any further. She stared at him for a while before retracting her gaze and looking around at the crowd. She raised her voice and said, All of us are gathered together because we share the same goal of annihilating the Shi family. In order to achieve this goal, we have worked hard for the past 5 years and thought of all sorts of methods. But we are still far from achieving our goal. The reason is that we do not have high-end combat strength and do not have more martial artists in the middle ranks. For that, we choose to endure and wait for an opportunity. Before today, none of us knew how long we'd have to wait. But now he has appeared. A 4th-grade expert is willing to cooperate with us to destroy the Shi family. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If we miss it, it might never come again. Perhaps everyone is curious as to why that 4th-grade expert wanted us to kill Shi Yenkang. The reason is simple. He wants us to show proof of our allegiance. That's right, it was a proof of allegiance. Stone Annihilation Alliance, Stone Annihilation Alliance. Yet they hadn't killed a single person from the Shi family, so what kind of alliance was this? Although the events of the day had shown Su Jingxing that the Stone Annihilation Alliance was quite powerful, suppressing public opinion was completely different from killing a direct descendant of the Shi family. Shi Yenkang wasn't Shi Jindong who had sought refuge with the Li family. Shi Yenkang, who was in his 30s, was the leader of the younger generation of the Shi family. Many of the businesses under the Shi family were managed by him. The person Wan Rong followed when he was alive was Shi Yenkang. Through Wan Rong and Nie Rencho's memories, Su Jingxing's understanding of Shi Yenkang wasn't 100%, but there was definitely at least 90%. Unlike others, Shi Yenkang didn't like money, women, or martial arts. His only hobby was listening to music. Classical music at that. He loved to sit alone in a spacious auditorium and listen to an orchestra play. If they performed well, they would be rewarded handsomely. If not, he would personally strangle and kill one person. If worse, he would strangle and kill another person. Therefore, many people had died in Shi Yenkang's hands, and they were all musicians. After strangling them, he would even provide a very high amount of compensation. But since the person was dead, any amount of money would be pointless. Su Jingxing chose him because he wanted to see if the people from the Stone Annihilation Alliance were really not afraid of death. Secondly, he wanted to see if there were any spies planted by the Shi family in the Stone Annihilation Alliance, or if there were people who had already betrayed, or were going to betray them. This was especially important. Only after ensuring that the Stone Annihilation Alliance was clean would Su Jingxing cooperate with them and launch a huge plan against the Shi family. This was also the prerequisite for working with him. If they couldn't even handle a single Shi Yenkang, there was no need to talk about anything else. The question was thrown out. Now, it was up to the Stone Annihilation Alliance to respond. Beep beep. A notification sounded. Su Jingxing opened the chat and chuckled. Very good, let me see how you guys will kill Shi Yenkang. The Stone Annihilation Alliance had agreed. Furthermore, they were taking action that very night. They planned to intercept Shi Yenkang, who was back on the way back to his residence, and kill him in the later half of the night. As an important direct descendant of the Shi family, the Stone Annihilation Alliance had always been watching him. They had long grasped Shi Yenkang's whereabouts. They hadn't dared to act previously because they had too many misgivings, especially since they had failed before. If they wanted to kill him now, they could immediately gather their manpower and set up an ambush. They had also chosen the venue and informed Su Jingxing because they wanted him to watch the show live. Su Jingxing gladly accepted it. 2 a.m. Qinghe City, Western District. Beside the bypass highway. On the top of a big tree on a mountain, Su Jingxing stood on a branch and looked at the road with few cars in the distance. Presently, it was deep into the night and a car would only pass by on bypass highway once in a while. The exit of the highway, a junction of 3 roads, was where the Stone Annihilation Alliance would intercept and kill Shi Yenkang. Su Jingxing arrived 10 minutes in advance. He activated his night vision and distant vision abilities at the same time, looking into the distance. He realized that a group of people had arrived and were lying in ambush around the three-way junction. There were people lurking in the flower beds, behind the tourist attractions, on top of buildings, and even in a small river beside the highway. Everyone held different items in their hands. There were sniper rifles, short crossbows, bows, and of course, there were also large sabers, long swords, and other treasure weapons. Dozens of people were lying in ambush in different places, waiting silently. When 3 cars exited the highway and reached the junction. Swoosh! 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 Under Su Jingxing's gaze, 3 sniper bullets broke the silence and hit the tires. Immediately, the cars lost their balance and rolled in the air after skidding a few meters on the ground. Swish! 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 Almost at the instant the cars began rolling, a dozen arrows with explosives tied to them shot out from the darkness, hitting the cars and triggering explosions. Boom! 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 3 explosions echoed through the night. At this moment, 7 or 8 figures rushed out from the cars that were in the air. Without waiting for the cars to land, they jumped out ahead of time. People tumbled through the air, or flashed quickly to avoid the exploding and burning cars. Martial artists. Martial artists who were at least in the 7th grade. Among them was the ashen-faced Shi Yenkong. A bunch of smelly bugs, courting death. Who? 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 More than 10 crossbows suddenly interrupted Shi Yenkong's low roar and shot out from the darkness towards his group. The enraged Shi Yenkong had no choice but to shut up and dodge. The same went for the others. The lightness skills and movement techniques they cultivated were not bad, so they were basically able to dodge. Only 2 people were injured by the crossbow arrows that grazed their shoulders and faces. Then, in less than 3 seconds, these 2 people convulsed and foamed at the mouth as they fell to the ground. There's poison! Shi Yenkong shouted in a low voice, and his expression turned uglier and uglier. Flames spewed from his eyes as he wiped his hands on his waist. Swish! 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 One by one, darts shot out to attack the dark corners. Ugh! Thump! Some people groaned, some fell to the ground, and some died on the spot. The people around Shi Yenkong also pulled out their guns and pulled the trigger at the exposed members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance. As they fired, they executed their movement techniques and quickly pounced over. Swish! 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 Bang bang bang! Gunshots rang out and the sound of rushing wind could be heard without end. After throwing the darts, Shi Yenkong pulled out 2 short swords and held them in his hands. His body was also like an arrow as he rushed towards the people hiding behind the flower beds. Before he arrived, he swung his short swords and released a sword energy to slice across from a distance. Bang! Bang! It was also then that 2 explosions resounded in the air. It was the people behind the flower bed. They had directly thrown bombs at Shi Yenkong. Shi Yenkong, who was halfway there, wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. He was struck on the spot, and his clothes were torn. There was a wound in his chest that was badly mangled. The skin on half of his face was also rolled up. He was injured. Of course, if it wasn't for the protection of his protective true energy, his consequences wouldn't have been as simple as getting injured. He would have just collapsed and become immobile. Even so, Shi Yenkong was furious. Enduring the pain in his body, he rushed in front of the 7 ambushers and brandished his short swords. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. With a flash of sword light, the 7 of them were killed on the spot. Shi Yenkong gave a low roar and continued to pounce towards another side where there were people firing at him. Bang bang bang. The protective true energy around his body was struck by the bullet, and sparks flew everywhere as the bullets were repelled. Swish! 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 A dozen crossbow arrows launched themselves at him from the side. Shi Yenkong suddenly increased his speed and dodged these arrows. With the short swords in hand, he rushed into the firing crowd. Swoosh! At this moment, a saber suddenly appeared and blocked Shi Yenkong's path. Facing his head, it slashed down. "It's you!" Shi Yenkong gritted his teeth and brandished his short swords with both hands to receive the saber. Bang! 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 Saber energy and sword energy collided in a split second, unleashing waves of energy that wreaked havoc in the surroundings and even the ground. The white hair of the old man holding the saber stood out in the night. On his resolute and old face, his gaze was fixed on Shi Yenkong. He didn't care about his own safety and began a battle to the death with Shi Yenkong using moves that would doom them to the same fate. Finally, with a strange sound, Shi Yenkong's two short swords stabbed into his shoulders and abdomen, while his saber also chopped off Shi Yenkong's head. Once Shi Yenkong died, his guards immediately went crazy and charged into the crowd to kill them without any care. However, it was a pity that they were not sixth-grade martial artists and did not have protective true energy to protect themselves. Faced with the continuous close-range shots of the crossbow arrows and the siege of more than 10 large-caliber firearms, they were soon seriously injured and subsequently died. After everyone was dealt with, the remaining members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance quickly cleaned up the battlefield and collected the corpses of their companions before sending them to the crematorium. The injured followed the fleet of cars to head in another direction. Su Jingxing saw this and left the mountain. He came to the crossroads to extract cards. Especially that from Shi Yenkong. The moment he extracted the card, he read the information. After confirming that it was a bloodline card, he put it into his palm space. Then, he used his lightness skill to chase after the fleet where the injured members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance were with. He followed behind them at a distance. The fleet headed straight to the north of the city, entered the factory area in the suburbs, and drove into an underground warehouse. Su Jingxing pushed his speed to the fastest and followed closely behind the cars. He flashed past the entrance and entered the spacious and bright underground space. The fleet came to a stop. There were already people waiting, pulling the carts and sending all the injured to treatment. An oval-faced woman took off her hood and met the others. She asked seriously, "How was it? Did you tell that person about the ambush? Tell him that we have already killed Shi Yenkong." "I already sent a message, but the legend didn't reply." Responding to her was a round-faced girl. "That expert should still be at the scene, right?" A youth with messy hair scratched his head and said, "If he really came to watch. I'm just afraid he didn't." A youth with a buzz-cut sighed at the side. "Qian, did you guys notice anything abnormal with the surroundings before the ambush?" A middle-aged woman wearing glasses pushed her glasses up her nose and asked. "No," the girl with the oval face shook her head. "We arrived half an hour earlier to ambush them. We didn't find anything." "In that case, that person didn't go at all. He lied to us." A man in his 30s, who was missing an ear, became agitated. He waved his hands and shouted, "He's lying to us. He wants us to kill Shi Yenkong. Now that Shi Yenkong is dead, more than 20 of us have also died. Even Elder Huang is seriously injured, yet he's not even showing his face. What is this? What is this? Enough, Gan Jichang." A shout of rebuke rang out, and a middle-aged man with a scar on his face frowned. "Regardless of whether that person went or not, killing Shi Yenkong this time is a huge victory for us. Yes, our alliance is called Stone Annihilation. Before this, we have not killed a single member of the Shi family. We can finally call ourselves an actual alliance this time." The messy-haired young man grinned. "Yes, we have. But the price is too high." The bespectacled middle-aged woman sighed lightly. "There is a price for everything we do. Killing Shi Yenkong this time is just the beginning. Next, we will continue to have operations and more people will die, the oval-faced woman said seriously. What I'm most afraid of is not death, but becoming useless with death. Then. What about that person? The man called Gan Jichang opened his mouth and gritted his teeth. Wasn't that person asking for a proof of allegiance? Now that we've fulfilled it, he's not showing himself. What's going on? Are we going to continue communicating online? He'll be commanding from behind while we charge ahead. You. What do you want? Su Jingxing's calm voice sounded, interrupting the oval-faced woman who wanted to speak. The latter's body stiffened, and the middle-aged man with the scar on his face also trembled. The others didn't notice anything. They just felt that Gan Jichang was being a little too angry. Jichang, that's enough. The messy-haired young man frowned. It's not a matter of whether it's enough or not. It's that person has a clear disregard of us. He has been looking down on us all this time. Gan Jichang waved his hands and shouted agitatedly, I admit that he's very powerful. He can destroy a secret base of the Shi family by himself and even use the internet to suppress the Shi family, leaving them trapped in public opinion and unable to extricate themselves. But this doesn't mean that he can disregard us. This time, with just one sentence from him, we have sacrificed the lives of more than 20 people. What about next time? How many people will die next time? Now that Shi Yenkong is dead, the Shi family will definitely go crazy. Every one of us will suffer the Shi family's revenge subsequently. Yet he's hiding in the dark and won't even show himself. On what basis? On what basis? Just because he is in the 4th grade? Since it's a collaboration. Enough. The oval-faced woman took a deep breath and interrupted with a low growl. It's not enough. Gan Jichang waved his hand and continued to yell, since it's a collaboration, then he should make his identity clear. This is the basic problem of attitude. Now our people have died, shouldn't he at least show his face? Shut it. The middle-aged man with a scar on his face gritted his teeth. It's fine. Let him continue. Su Jingxing was still calm as he spoke. There were always some people who couldn't read the situation clearly and couldn't be in the proper state of mind. The sooner such a person was recognized, the less trouble they would have. However, after speaking twice, the others finally reacted and turned to look at Su Jingxing, who had appeared out of nowhere. Wearing a cloak and a mask, his voice deliberately was changed as he stood in a corner against the wall and looked at them silently. In that instant, everyone's hearts skipped a beat and their breathing stopped. Gan Jichang's legs trembled uncontrollably. He dared to complain in private, but he would never dare to do so in front of a 4th grade expert. Most importantly, when did Su Jingxing appear? When did he come in? If Su Jingxing hadn't spoken, no one would have noticed. For a moment, the place fell into dead silence. Why aren't you saying anything? Continue. Su Jingxing maintained his low and hoarse voice and said, Continue, it's fine. Thump. Gan Jichang couldn't hold on any longer. His legs turned to jelly, and he collapsed to the ground. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but no words came out. Senior, he just has a loose tongue. He doesn't mean anything else. The messy-haired young man swallowed his saliva and laughed dryly. Then, without waiting for Su Jingxing's reply, he said excitedly, "Oh right, Senior, your IT skills are amazing. You're like a god." "Oh, no, on the internet, you're a god." Yes. "Senior, do you want something to drink? We have everything here. Do you want to go sit over there?" The oval-faced woman also helped to change the topic, though her excuse was a terrible one. Su Jingxing did not respond. He glanced at the two of them, and then at Gan Jichang. As he stared, he walked towards him. "Senior." The oval-faced woman opened her mouth, wanting to stop him. Swoosh. In a flash, Su Jingxing covered a dozen meters and arrived in front of Gan Jichang. Then, he reached out, grabbed and lifted him up. "No, senior, hold on. Jichang, hurry up and apologize." The group panicked, crying out, shouting and begging for mercy. Su Jingxing ignored them all. He held Gan Jichang in one hand and pulled a button off his collar with the other. He fiddled with it in his hand and sized it up before tossing it to the oval-faced woman behind him. Gan Jichang, who was in his other hand, was thrown back to the ground and ignored. After the oval-faced woman caught the button and checked it, her expression turned extremely grim. The others saw this and closed their mouths. No matter how stupid they were, they understood that Su Jingxing wasn't looking for trouble with Gan Jichang, but had discovered that there was something wrong with him. "Sister. Sister Qian." The round-faced girl urged. "It's a camera." The oval-faced woman took a deep breath and said in a low voice, "And a tapping device. F***CK. Kill him. Gan Jichang, I'll kill you." Everyone's eyes turned red. A few men rushed over and surrounded Gan Jichang, punching and kicking him. "Ah!" Gan Jichang screamed in pain. He hugged his head and rolled on the ground. As he rolled, he shouted, "I didn't betray the alliance, I'm not a traitor. How dare you continue to speak? Kill him." When the people who were kicking and beating him heard this, they became even more furious and used even more strength. With 2 cracks, they broke Gan Jichang's arms and legs. "Ah!" Gan Jichang howled in pain and his voice became hoarse. "I'm really not a traitor. The people behind the camera aren't the Shi family, it's the Li family. I just want to have a route of retreat. Is there anything wrong with that? The Li family have said that if our plan fails, they can protect us. I found a way out for everyone. Was that wrong?" In the end, Gan Jichang's face was filled with grief and indignance, as if he had suffered a great grievance. Su Jingxing was speechless. This guy was either mad or brainwashed by the Li family. No matter what it was fortunate that he had discovered it early. Earlier, when Su Jingxing had appeared in front of Gan Jichang and the others, he had immediately sensed that someone was spying on them. After his soul power had increased, his intuition had become sharper. At first, Su Jingxing had thought that the cameras in the corners had locked onto him. However, upon closer inspection, he discovered that the feeling was not only from the corner, but also the crowd. That was strange. They were already face to face, so why was there a need to spy? As a result, when he probed deeper, he discovered that the spying sensation came from Gan Jichang. Combined with Gan Jichang's shouts, Su Jingxing walked towards him. As expected, when he moved closer, he found his target. A disguised button camera. Oh, and the tapping device. With Gan Jichang's cooperation, it was unknown how long the Stone Annihilation Alliance had been monitored by the Li family. This was also the reason why the oval-faced woman and company were furious after they realized what he had done. Not only was there a traitor among them, this traitor was also constantly helping others to keep watch on them. At the thought their every move was being watched and listened to by the Li family each time Gan Jichang appeared, the oval-faced woman and company could not help but feel their scalps tingle and their backs turn cold. "I'm sorry, senior." The oval-faced woman was the first to regain her composure. As she crushed the button, she bowed to Su Jingxing and said gratefully, "Thank you, senior, for helping us find the traitor." "Thank you, senior." The others followed closely behind, bowing and thanking him in unison. "Is there any place that he doesn't know?" Su Jingxing asked coolly. Even though he did not mention names, everyone knew who he was referring to. "Yes." The oval-faced woman stood up and took a deep breath. "Senior, please follow me." Then, she led the way in front and rushed towards the main entrance. Su Jingxing followed in silence. "Quick, quick. We can't stay here any longer. Everyone, retreat immediately." Cripple this fellow. F***ck, I treated him as a brother in vain. Fortunately, Senior discovered him in time. Otherwise, we wouldn't even know when we would be wiped out. Yeah. All kinds of shouts came from behind. Su Jingxing listened to them and shook his head slightly. The Stone Annihilation Alliance was called an alliance, but its sense of organization was not very strict. It was fine for ordinary people and martial artists to move together, but the division of labor also seemed to be unclear. That was laughable. It would be a miracle that their self-examination was strict if the division of labor was not clear. If it weren't for the fact that the following plan required a lot of manpower, Su Jingxing really didn't want to work with them. Without saying a word, he followed the oval-faced woman out of the underground warehouse and took a car to the university town. They stopped in the backyard of a bar on the corner of the university town. After that, they made several turns in an alley and entered a secluded small courtyard. After entering the courtyard, they passed through a secret passage and arrived in a spacious room that was completely sealed. Senior, please take a seat first. The others will be here soon. Oh yes, my name is Shenqian. The oval-faced woman smiled at Su Jingxing and then walked towards the small room on the right side of the office to get the tea set. Su Jingxing scanned the entire room and activated his secret ability, Advanced Hearing, to listen to the movements within a range of 100 meters. Indeed, the surroundings of this secret room were very quiet. Senior, please have some tea. Shenqian brought the tea out and placed it on a table beside Su Jingxing. Then, she rubbed her hands and stood aside, not knowing what to say. How many martial artists do you have? Su Jingxing asked in a low voice. Shenqian heaved a sigh of relief and replied, we have 47 martial artists. Among them, 1 is in 6th grade, 5 are in 7th grade, 12 are in 8th grade, and the rest are in 9th grade. Without waiting for Su Jingxing to probe further, she continued, although there aren't many martial artists, the rest of us can still play a significant role. Surveillance, spying, infiltration, entering the Shi family's business, following beside the Shi family descendants. Also, designing weapons and explosives, doctors, teachers, promoters, and more. Our people are present in all the industries. Good. Su Jingxing was as calm as ever. It was good to have many people. With the plan that he wanted to execute, the more people participating, the better. Shenqian opened her mouth but did not dare to ask the question. Su Jingxing didn't want to speak, so she could only shut up. Fortunately, they didn't have to wait long before the other core members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance arrived. This is Xiao Qingyue. Shenqian pointed at the young man with messy hair and introduced. This is Jiang Tianhao. Shenqian pointed at the middle-aged man with a scar on his face. This is Zhang Jun. The man with the beard. This is Mao Xiaomao. The round-faced girl. This is Yang Xijing. The bespectacled middle-aged woman. Shenqian introduced them one by one. Finally, she pointed at a young man with long hair with a long sword on his back. His expression was aloof. This is Yi Zhichong. After the introductions of more than 40 people were done, Shenqian looked at Su Jingxing. Other than the injured elder Huangya, as well as the other dozen who have gone overseas, all the martial artists in the alliance are here. Su Jingxing nodded. He glanced at everyone and spoke calmly. I know everyone is curious about what the next step is. I'm not going to waste my breath. Duel. Duel. What does that mean? Everyone stared at one another. However, they did not dare to ask any questions and remained silent. Su Jingxing saw this and went straight to the point. I wonder if any of you have heard of the Lin family? Silence. Shenqian, Jiang Tianhao, and Xiao Qingyue and the others were still dumbfounded. Are you referring to the Lin family from 30 years ago? Zhang Jun touched his chin and asked. Yes. Su Jingxing looked at him and said calmly, 30 years ago, the biggest faction in the Western District was not the Shi family, but the Lin family. Although the Lin family was not as powerful and domineering as the Shi family today, they still dominated the Western District for many years. However, they disappeared overnight. Do you know the reason? This, Zhang Jun touched his chin and fell into deep thought. I've heard of the Lin family. They were very powerful back then, but I really don't have any impression of how they disappeared. I know. Jiang Tianhao raised his hand and his eyes lit up. I remember now. That's right. 30 years ago, the Lin family didn't disappear suddenly. They were killed by the Shi family. What? The rest were shocked. Brother Tianhao, give us more details. What exactly happened? That's right, that's right. Wasn't the Lin family the biggest faction back then? How did they get wiped out by the Shi family? Everyone was puzzled and asked. Jiang Tianhao didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing gestured for him to explain. Only then did Jiang Tianhao let out a breath. Taking a deep breath, he said seriously, the Lin family wasn't exterminated. Instead, they suffered heavy casualties during a duel with the Shi family. There was no way for them to continue subsequently, so they disappeared overnight. In fact, there should still be people from the Lin family who are alive. However, if nothing else had happened, they probably are doing worse than ordinary people. Without the protection of the family clan, it's unknown how many people are still alive. As for the duel, the full name is called Family Clan Duel. It's just like a battle between martial artists. If they are unable to resolve the conflict between them, they have no choice but to enter the arena and engage in a fight of life and death. The Family Clan Duel is the same. However, it is crueler. It is a large-scale fight to the death that can only be held between two family clans. The commander of city governance of the Martial Suppression Office will personally act as the referee. Each family will send out one person to fight in the arena. Those who die will lie down. Those who are still alive can leave, or they can continue to challenge the next person. There is no limit to how many matches they can continuously participate in. In any case, a total of 100 matches will have to be completed. In other words, the two families that are involved have to submit 100 names before the start of the duel. For these 100 people, 70 have to be descendants while there are no rules for guest elders and guardians. In short, in the end, no matter who wins or loses, there will be heavy casualties. But for some reason, when the Lin family fought with the Shi family back then, the Lin family was wiped out and disappeared overnight. The Shi family did not suffer a huge loss. Instead, they used this opportunity to devour most of the Lin family's businesses and replace them to become the overlord of the Western District. After Jiang Tianhao finished speaking, he revealed some shock in his expression. Needless to say, the others had their mouths agape in astonishment. It turned out that the Shi family's dominance of the Western District had come from a duel. A family clan duel, 100 battles to the death. Just how great of a grudge and grievance did they have to go through with that? Suddenly, Shen Qian thought of something and looked up at Su Jingxing in shock. She stuttered, Senior, you're thinking of. That's right, Su Jingxing interrupted. A duel. Back then, the Shi family defeated the Lin family and took their place. Then we can also use a duel to exterminate the Shi family. At the very least, we can make them suffer heavy casualties and crush their foundation. But you want to say that we are an alliance, not a family clan, so the Martial Suppression Office won't entertain us, right? Su Jingxing interrupted again. Shen Qian, Mao Xiaomao, Xiao Qingyue, and the others nodded hard. That's simple, Su Jingxing said calmly. I know where the remaining members of the Lin family are. If we find them and you pick 70 people to join the Lin family, the problem will be solved. Huh? Xiao Qingyue was stunned. He stuttered, Senior, are you saying that we have to change our surname to Lin? Is there a problem? Su Jingxing remained indifferent. In order to destroy the Shi family, you're not even afraid of death. Are you not even willing to change your surname? Shen Qian, Xiao Qingyue, and Jiang Tianhao were speechless. The others watched in silence. That's right, if we aren't even afraid of death, what is changing our surname? At this thought, Xiao Qingyue's expression turned serious and he was about to agree. Wait. Zhang Jun suddenly said, changing our surnames and becoming a member of the Lin family isn't a problem. But, even if we change our surnames and step into the arena, how many people from the Shi family can we kill? That's right. Xiao Qingyue suddenly realized this. He shook his head and said, we're not afraid of death, but we know how strong we are. If we go up one by one and against members of the Shi family, 90% of us will be killed by them. In the end, the Shi family will still exist, and our deaths won't be of any use. Who's asking you people to kill? Su Jingxing replied coolly. Zhang Jun, Xiao Qingyue, Shen Qian, and Jiang Tianhao were confused. Senior, are you saying that you'll fight and defeat everyone alone? In the corner, Yi Zhichong, who had been silent all along, suddenly spoke up. Swoosh! 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 Everyone turned to look at him. Then, they quickly turned back and looked at Su Jingxing in shock. A single person to fight and defeat all the opponents. Everyone sucked in a cold breath of air when they thought of that scene. That's right. Su Jingxing took a look at Yi Zhichong and said indifferently, I'll be the one to kill the Shi family. All of you are only responsible for stalling for time. This. Although it was quite a blow and also seemed rather cruel, they had to admit that their purpose of going on was indeed to stall for time so that Su Jingxing could get a break. This was what Su Jingxing had planned from the start. So, are you willing to participate in the plan? Su Jingxing said, as you've said, most of the people in your alliance are facing the threat of death. At this time, the earlier the application for the duel is approved, the smaller the threat. I can wait, but you people don't have much time left. I'm willing. Shen Qian was the first to step out and raise her hand in agreement. Me too, Xiao Qingyue followed and raised his hand. Me too. And me. Without much hesitation, they stood up one after another. Su Jingxing had already taken on the biggest part, so what were they afraid of? In a family clan duel, every match was one-on-one. If they do die on stage, at least they would have gotten some rest time for Su Jingxing. But if they do end up killing a person by risking themselves, it would be a huge gain. In the arena, anything could be used. Hidden weapons, poisonous gas, self-destruction. As long as one could kill his opponent, he could do anything. Under such circumstances, there was no reason for them to give up this opportunity that hadn't come by easily to take revenge openly. Su Jingxing was satisfied. Select the people that will be joining the Lin family first and wait for my notice. Okay, senior. This is my contact number. Shen Qian stepped forward slightly and handed over a note. Su Jingxing released his true energy and drew the note to him from a distance. He took a glance and tossed it back to Shen Qian. Following which, he turned around and vanished on the spot. Dawn. On a long street that was adjacent to the main road in the western district of Qinghe City. Creak. Creak. The subtle sound of tires rubbing against the ground rang out, waking up the streets that saw few pedestrians this morning. In the cold, wet wind, the truck, loaded with garbage, stopped in front of a garbage bin. From the driver's seat, a hunchbacked, gray-haired old man with a face full of wrinkles alighted. The old man, wearing a mask, opened the trash can with practiced ease. He used tongs and shovels to transfer the trash in the bin into the truck. The foul odor unique to garbage mixed into the morning breeze. Lin Tuotian. Suddenly, a low and slightly hoarse voice sounded. Su Jingxing, who was still wearing a cloak and a mask, stood out of the wind and stared at the old man who was emptying the garbage. He spoke calmly. "Lin Tuatian, do you want revenge?" The old man did not react. It was as if he was deaf as he busied himself with his work. Su Jingxing didn't mind and continued talking to himself. "A few days ago, I just destroyed a secret base of the Shi family outside the city and rescued more than 100 girls. After I came back, I exposed this matter through the internet and attracted the attention of the entire city. Although there was no concrete evidence, there has been a lot of commotion in real life and on the internet for the past few days. Everyone in the city is discussing whether it was the Shi family's doing. And the effect was not bad. It drew out the Stone Annihilation Alliance that was secretly formed because of the Shi family's persecution over the years. They all wanted to destroy the Shi family, but they could not find an opportunity. Due to certain reasons, I also wanted the Shi family members to die. Therefore, I reached an agreement with them to apply for a duel." The moment the word duel was spoken, the old man who had not reacted all this while suddenly froze in his movements, and his hunched body trembled slightly. Although he quickly returned to normal, Su Jingxing, who was always paying attention to him the whole time, didn't miss it. Lin Tuatian, the final survivor of the Lin family. The family that had dominated the Western District 30 years ago but disappeared overnight due to a duel with the Shi family. When the Lin family was still around, Lin Tuatian was the youngest son of the patriarch. With his actual age, he was 45 years old this year. However, at this moment, Lin Tuatian, who was emptying the trash, could be said to be 75 years old. The reason was because the Shi family had never let him off. Of course, Lin Tuatian hadn't come into contact with people at Shi Jinyan's level yet. The ones who had been humiliating and suppressing him were the subordinates of the Shi family. Shi Yenkong was the overall in charge, while the people executing his orders changed batch after batch. Wan Rong, Su Jingxing's previous enemy, was lucky enough to have had his turn once. That's right. Su Jingxing knew about family clan duels, the Lin family, and Lin Tuatian because he had gone through Wan Rong's memories. This former enemy, though dead, was still helpful to Su Jingxing. Starting a duel against the Shi family required 100 names. And also a legitimate motive. Getting Lin Tuatian to join them and applying in the name of taking revenge for the Lin family was the best excuse. As long as the plan went well, Lin Tuatian and the people from the Stone Annihilation Alliance would have fulfilled their wishes for revenge. Su Jingxing would obtain a large amount of 3 Yin candles blood to feed Thunderbolt. And those who were oppressed by the Shi family would be freed. Those girls born during a Yin hour of a Yin day of a Yin month of a Yin year who had been used as provisions by the Shi family for so many years and had blood from their hearts dug out could also rest in peace. In fact, the Li family, who was monitoring the Stone Annihilation Alliance from behind the scenes, could also seize the opportunity to annex the Shi family's businesses. Although the Li family was the top martial arts family in Qinghe City, over the years, the Shi family had been strengthening themselves. On the surface, they were competing with the Li family, but in secret, they were nurturing various subordinate forces and large batches of sacrificial soldiers. At this rate, the Shi family would surpass the Li family in 10 years at most. Hence, the Li family would be happy to see the Shi family destroyed. When Su Jingxing took action, not only would the Li family not stop him, instead they would also aid him in secret. It could be said that once the Shi family was destroyed, it would be a win for many parties. So, after he had settled the Stone Annihilation Alliance, Su Jingxing quickly found Lin Tuatian. Family clans are the units in duels. We have the people, the money and the strength. All we lack is the final act of righteousness. Lin Tuatian, if you're willing to work with us, we can take this opportunity. With the aid of your identity, we can save a lot of trouble. If you don't wish to, then don't force it. The number of small family clans that have been wiped out by the Shi family over the years aren't in the minority either. Su Jingxing finished his narration calmly. We're in a hurry. 5 minutes later, if you still haven't decided. I want Shi Kong to die. A hoarse and sharp voice that sounded like a crow's cry suddenly rang out. After clearing the trash, Lin Tuotian suddenly lifted his head, straightened his back, and clenched his fists, his eyes shining with hatred. After you've killed Shi Kong, I will work with you people. Shi Kong. Su Jingxing narrowed his eyes and said indifferently, he just died this morning. Ha! Lin Tuotian let out a cold harumph, lowered his head, and bent down to move the trash. You don't believe me? Su Jingxing took out his phone and dialed Shen Qian's number. After the call was connected, he didn't say anything else and directly got Shen Qian to send the video of them killing Shi Kong in the wee hours to him. This was the Stone Annihilation Alliance's proof of allegiance, especially the killing of Shi Kong. The process of the interception and kill was recorded from the start through the cameras at the crossroads. Su Jingxing had known that Shen Qian and the rest would do this before he took action. Hence, it was easy to get the recording. Su Jingxing opened the video and showed it to Lin Tuotian. A few minutes later. Ha ha ha. Lin Tuotian burst into loud laughter, as if he had gone mad. Good, 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 a deserved death. I agree to cooperate with you. With Lin Tuotian agreeing, the plan moved one step further. Next was the transfer of the family registers. Su Jingxing called Shen Qian again and asked her to bring the 70 people who were changing their names to the Household Registration Office of the Western District Public Security Center. On the other side, Lin Tuotian threw away the tongs, shovels, and kicked over the garbage truck before heading to the nearest bathhouse. He took shower before heading to the hair salon to do his hair. Then, he knocked on the door, forcefully opened a clothing store, and bought a new set of clothes. From inside out, head to toe, he had a 180-degree transformation. When he stood in front of Su Jingxing again, he was a completely different person. Apart from the wrinkles on his face and his white hair, he seemed to have regained all his energy. From a sanitation worker who was bullied every day, he instantly turned back to the young master of a martial arts family. On the contrary, Su Jingxing seemed like a bodyguard. Su Jingxing was happy to see this happen. Lin Tuotian's appearance would be even more convincing. He was prepared to declare war on the Shi family. A revenge battle that was 30 years late. The first course of action in this battle was to head to the Household Registration Office of the Western District Public Security Center. They met up with Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao and the rest. As soon as the office opened, the 70 people who were changing their names followed Lin Tuotian and completed the transfer of the family registers. In front of each person's name, the word Lin was added. Early in the morning, all 70 people changed their surname to Lin. Everyone in the household registration office had a strange look on their faces, but they did not say anything. Since these people were willing, and they were being charged the usual fees, they couldn't care less about the reason behind this. The transfer was completed. Next, the large group headed for the Martial Suppression Office. Not the branch in the Western District, but the headquarters in the Central District. More than 70 people arrived, they arrived in 20-odd cars. It was a majestic sight as they drove through the city and arrived at the Martial Suppression Office's headquarters building. The cars stopped at the side of the road and formed a long line. The group of people got off and remained silent the entire time. They surrounded Lin Tuotian and followed Su Jingxing into the Martial Suppression Office. Lin Tuotian was the patriarch of the Lin family, so it was naturally up to him to apply for a duel. The group surrounded him as they walked quickly through the main hall of the Martial Suppression Office. The guards on the first floor noticed this and quickly followed behind. When Lin Tuotian was asking to apply AEL at the Department of Arenas, the ordinary staff member responsible for receiving him was completely confused. Duel. Family clan duel. Is there such a form of arena fighting? Lin Tuotian smiled. Of course. If you don't know, you can ask your superiors. Alright, please wait for a moment. When the female employee heard this, she didn't think too much and picked up the phone to call her superior. After the call went through, she reported the situation. Yes, it's an application from an old man with the surname Lin. He said that it's a family clan duel. Ah, is that so? Alright, I understand. After that, she hung up the call and looked at Lin Tuotian apologetically. I'm sorry, my superior said that the tradition of family clan duels was abolished 10 years ago. I'm sorry, your application cannot be approved. Swoosh. Lin Tuotian's expression instantly turned somber. The members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance who were standing behind him also stirred when they heard this. Miss, are you sure? Shen Qian took a few steps forward and asked the female employee, why don't you ask again? This, abolition is abolition. No matter how many times I ask, it's the same answer. The female staff looked apologetic. Impossible. Lin Tuotian took a deep breath and said in a low voice, this tradition has been passed down since ancient times. It can't be abolished. But that's enough. Su Jingxing raised his hand to interrupt and said calmly, this has nothing to do with you. And you people don't have to make things difficult for her. Su Jingxing looked at Lin Tuotian, Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao and the rest. The problem is, the application cannot be approved. What should we do next? Xiao Qingyue asked anxiously. I know. Su Jingxing looked around and scanned the crowd of onlookers on the outside. He said indifferently, I knew from the very beginning that challenging the Shi family would be that simple. Are you saying that this was the doing of the Shi family? Lin Tuotian's eyes widened, turning red. Who else could it be? Su Jingxing retracted his gaze and calmly said, the Shi family has planted countless people in the martial suppression office. How could they let our application get approved so easily? The female staff was dumbfounded as she sat in her seat, not knowing what to do. The crowd that was watching the commotion from the outside was also in an uproar. Quiet, quiet. Seeing this, the guards quickly moved around to placate them. What a Shi family! Xiao Qingyue said through clenched teeth. Lin Tuotian didn't say anything, but his eyes shone with killing intent. It doesn't matter. Su Jingxing continued to speak calmly. The Shi family thinks that they can stop us with just this. I can only say that they're expecting too much. Coincidentally, we'll need the commander of city governance to personally be the judge for a family clan duel. Everyone, cover your ears and open your mouths wide. Su Jingxing glanced at Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, Xiao Qingyue and company. They were stunned. In the next moment, they immediately followed his instructions. Lin Tuotian also covered his ears and opened his mouth wide. The dumbfounded female employee suddenly snapped back to her senses and followed suit. The people on the outside saw this and were stunned. At the same time, they wanted to laugh out loud. But at that moment, Li, Lin, Zhou, get out. Here. Here. The last word, here, was dragged out and spread in the air, covering the entire central district. The three words, Li Lin Zhou, instantly echoed in the ears of everyone in the central district. The use of secret ability, high-frequency sound wave. Su Jingxing's mastery of this unique skill that he picked up from Tang Wulin was only at the introductory stage. For the time being, he was unable to use it to attack. But it was not difficult to use it as a loudspeaker. With the infusion of true energy, everyone in the central district heard Su Jingxing's deliberately lowered call. The source of it was the main hall on the first floor of the martial suppression office. The vibration frequency was the highest. Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, and the rest covered their ears and opened their mouths wide. Faced with this shout, they still felt dizzy. Those who did not cover their ears started bleeding from the ears on the spot. Their heads were hurting and they were screaming miserably. The glass wall of the nearby building was full of cracks. A long roar shook half the city. Swoosh! Swoosh! In less than half a minute after the shout, a few figures flew into the hall like lightning from outside the entrance. Who are you? Why are you causing trouble here? The one who spoke was a man in his 40s who carried a long sword on his back. As soon as he appeared, his sharp gaze locked onto Su Jingxing. As he walked, he said in a deep voice, "You should be aware of the consequences of causing trouble in the martial suppression office." I honestly don't. Su Jingxing maintained his low voice. I only know that we came to the martial suppression office in accordance with usual practices to apply for a duel, but your people deliberately refused to approve it. The man frowned and turned to look at the female employee who seemed a little dizzy. The latter shuddered and came back to her senses, explaining hurriedly. They came to apply for the family clan duel, but when I reported it to my superior, the answer I received was, that this practice has been abolished. Says who? A gentle voice sounded. Commander. Greetings, Commander. Greetings, Commander. The group of men with long swords on their backs heard the voice and turned to look behind them. They recognized the person and hurriedly greeted him. He is Li Linzhou. Standing beside Su Jingxing, Lin Tuotian asked in a low voice. That's him. Su Jingxing replied coolly. He looked at Li Linzhou, who was walking towards the entrance step by step. He took a few steps forward and said, Commander Li, I'm sorry to have invited you over in this way. We had no choice but to do this. Li Linzhou did not say anything. He merely stared at Su Jingxing aloofly. Su Jingxing made eye contact with him without blinking. What were the specific characteristics of a fourth-grade martial artist? When true energy produces liquid, true fluid nourishes the mind and martial art true intent is present. These could not be reflected externally. In order to determine whether a martial artist was in the fourth grade or not, the best way was to test their true energy cultivation. See whether the true energy fluctuations released externally had reached 60 years. Of course, it didn't mean that a martial artist with 60 years of true energy cultivation would necessarily be a fourth grade. Instead, the true energy cultivation of a fourth grade martial artist would at least be around 60 years. At the very least, it would be 55 years. If one did not have sufficient true energy, one would not be able to produce liquid. Su Jingxing's true energy cultivation was 72 years. He did not have any true fluid because he wanted to build a deeper foundation. Even though the internal tempering had just begun, the fluctuations on the outside were even stronger than ordinary fourth-grade martial artists. He was confident and fearless. Naturally, he was not at a disadvantage when in this competition of auras. Under everyone's gaze, the two looked at each other. In the end, Li Linzhou retracted his gaze and questioned coolly, who said that the family clan duels have been abolished. It was Ma. Manager Zheng. The female employee trembled as she answered. Manager Zheng. It should be Zheng Aoshan, the man carrying the long sword said. Zheng Aoshan? He's sent by the Shi family. Li Linzhou muttered to himself and nodded in understanding. Fire him immediately. Yes. The man with the long sword on his back responded in a deep voice and immediately took 2 steps back. Have you all fulfilled the requirements to apply for a family clan duel? Li Linzhou turned to look at Lin Tuotian and company. Yes, Lin Tuotian said, looking at Su Jingxing. We're just 1 step away. We still need Commander Li to do the examination. Commander Li, where are we going to do that? Su Jingxing looked around the hall. Here or outside? Outside, of course. Li Linzhou turned around and walked towards the entrance. Su Jingxing followed slowly. Seeing this, the others also followed behind. Going outside for an examination. Of what? Those who knew were excited, while those who didn't were confused. A large group of people followed Li Linzhou and Su Jingxing to the small square in front of the Martial Suppression Office headquarters building. Those watching stood on the steps. Su Jingxing and Li Linzhou stood on each side with a distance of 40 to 50 meters between them. Ready? Su Jingxing spoke in a low voice while Li Linzhou remained calm. Seeing this, Su Jingxing did not waste any more time talking. He instantly mobilized 65 years of his true energy cultivation and gathered them in his hands. Following the path of the 100 steps raining fist, he suddenly punched out in the air. Boom! It was like an explosion of thunder and lightning that resounded through the entire square and the long street. A silvery black punch imprint appeared out of thin air. It carried a terrifying aura and created a tornado that swept towards Li Linzhou. Astral winds howled as energies spiraled. The silvery black fist imprint continued to amplify while on its way. In the end, it produced a force of 450,000 caddies and blew up the air inch by inch. The entire way was filled with dull explosions as it arrived in front of Li Linzhou. Swoosh! 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 Sword energy swirled around Li Linzhou's body and danced in the air. In an instant, it formed a huge disc that blocked the fist imprint. Boom! An earth-shattering boom erupted. The silvery black fist imprint and the disc of sword energy collided and dissolved each other. With this burst of energy, a large amount of dust rose and covered the entire small square. When the disc of sword energy collapsed. Bam! An intense explosion spread throughout the entire street. A substantial shock wave swept out in all directions from the small square. The impact sent the crowd tumbling to the ground. Cars parked along the street shook back and forth, their horns blaring. When the dust settled, everyone looked towards the center. Su Jingxing remained where he was. But Li Linzhou's figure had retreated more than 10 meters. The ground beneath his feet was cracked and countless cracks extended. Lost? Li Linzhou lost? The confused crowd broke into an uproar. The group of men with long swords on their backs stared at Su Jingxing in astonishment. The others could not tell, but how could they not understand? Li Linzhou had received Su Jingxing's punch. He did not lose, but neither did he win. The most crucial step in the family clan duel was that among the participants, there had to be a 4th-grade martial artist. And the examination of the standards of the 4th-grade martial artist was to be personally done by the commander of city governance. Obviously, Su Jingxing had fulfilled this standard. If he wasn't a 4th grade, could he defeat Li Linzhou with a single punch? Dream on. Sure enough. Dual application approved. Li Linzhou's gentle voice echoed in the small square. Understood. The man with the long sword on his back replied. With that, he turned around and walked into the main hall on the 1st floor to personally handle the procedures. Great! Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, Xiao Qingyue and others cheered excitedly. Succeeded. Finally. With the application approved, the Shi family had no choice but to take the challenge. Of course, in order to create an even bigger commotion, all the members of the Stone Annihilation Alliance started working. On the internet, they announced that the Lin family had launched a revenge battle against the Shi family after 30 years. After the Martial Suppression Office officially announced the date and location of the duel, the television, radio, newspapers, and various other channels also quickly threw money in to keep up with the updates. Thus, in just one morning, everyone in the city learned that a family clan that had been silent for 30 years had issued a challenge to the Shi family who dominated the Western District. A duel. A duel where more than 100 martial artists will carry out fights to the death. Without a doubt, when this news was released, the entire city was shaken. Family clan duel. This is the first time I've heard of such a competition. Hee, that's because you're ignorant and ill-informed. Family clan duels have existed since ancient times. Once begun, blood will flow like rivers and one family clan is bound to disappear. Of course, it's also possible that both sides will suffer great losses. I'm curious, where did this Lin family pop out from? Why have I never heard of them before? I'm in my 40s and I've never heard of them, let alone you. To summarize, the Lin family was the most powerful faction in the Western District 30 years ago. The Shi family was no match for the Lin family at that time. However, the Shi family used some tricks and killed most of the Lin family members in a duel. That was how they disappeared. That's right. My grandfather said that the Lin family was very powerful back then and had a good reputation, unlike the Shi family, who have been doing all sorts of bad things all these years. The incident about the girls who were captured previously is definitely related to them. Haha, who cares whether it's the Lin family or the Chen family? In any case, this duel is going to be interesting. Heh, we do have something interesting to look forward to, but not necessarily so for the Shi family. I reckon that they are fuming right now. The Shi family's residence. Bang! Bang! Pack! Boom! The sound of porcelain shattering, glass exploding, and heavy objects falling to the ground rang out from the residence of the Shi family. Bastard! 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 Damn old bastard! Damn old bastard! We spared his life out of goodwill, but he actually dared to resist and take revenge. I'll kill him. I'll drink his blood and eat his flesh. A hysterical roar resounded throughout the courtyard. A stout man paced up and down the sides of the spacious hall, smashing things and roaring thunderously as he did so. Enough, 15. A middle-aged man with a somber expression shouted, "What's the use of shouting here? Can you make Li Linzhou cancel the duel?" Li Linzhou won't cancel the duel, but we can make sure that the people partaking in the duel won't see the sun tomorrow. A man with a cold gaze and an aquiline nose sneered. You wish to doom us all? Shi Jinyan glanced at him. Free, what do you mean? When the man with the aquiline nose heard this, his gaze became increasingly cold. Was it wrong of me to consider the family clan's interests? Doesn't that old B***starred Lin Tuotian want revenge? I'll go kill those minions he hired and see how he'll fight us. Idiot. A fat middle-aged man with a big head, big ears, and a bulging stomach gave him a disdainful look. 18, what did you say? The gaze of the man with an aquiline nose was cold as he glared angrily at the fat middle-aged man. I say, you're a pitiful idiot. The fat middle-aged man was not afraid at all. He stretched out his swollen finger and cursed, you brainless fellow. You don't even know who the real enemy is, and you just fire randomly. You're hopeless. You. Enough. Shi Jinyan rebuked in a deep voice and interrupted, we're already in such a situation, and you're still arguing. Will you only stop when everyone is dead? Humph. The man snorted coldly and did not continue. He only glared at the fat middle-aged man. The latter shrugged and still looked at him with disdain. 18 is right. Shi Jinyan didn't pay the two of them any attention. Instead, he looked around, saying in a deep voice, in this duel, whether it is Lin Tuotian or the people from the Stone Annihilation Alliance, they are nothing to worry about. The true opponent is the person who linked them up. This fellow destroyed one of our bases and even exposed our secret. He silenced our attempt to divert attention on the internet. I even suspect that he was the one being Yinkong's death. Compared to the others, this hidden mastermind is the key. Find him and kill him. Only then can we remove the subsequent threats. There was a moment of silence. That was true, but the problem was the mastermind. They had been investigating for 2 days, but they could not find any clues. It was as if he had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. There was no trace of him before this. Never mind that, yet the other party had been keeping an eye on them and constantly finding trouble with the Shi family. It seemed like he wouldn't stop until he destroyed the Shi family. It was clear that the other party had a huge grudge against the Shi family. Everyone present were one of their own. They knew what the Shi family had been up to all these years. In the past, they didn't think much of it and would investigate the target before doing anything. Those who were powerful or had powerful backgrounds would not be touched. It could be said that even though the Shi family had been rampant all these years, they had remained cautious where they needed to. It was due to their cautiousness that they had been safe all this while. Who would have thought that they would end up being challenged by the very people they always subdued? A fourth-grade expert that appeared out of nowhere had forcefully pushed them to the forefront of the storm. Keep looking. In the silence, Shi Jinyan broke it and said, "We have to be prepared for tomorrow's duel as well. Doesn't the Stone Annihilation Alliance wish to exterminate us? When we go on tomorrow, we must break their spirit first." That's right. An alliance of several dozen martial artists also dares to dream of exterminating us. They simply don't know the meaning of death. I'll be the first to go on stage tomorrow and kill them all. The others echoed. Compared to that fourth-grade expert hidden behind the scenes, Lin Tuotian and the Stone Annihilation Alliance were nothing more than ants that could be easily crushed. Only the mastermind had them wary. Because of this, the Shi family's forces were activated again, searching for the other party. As the duel was happening the next day, time was tight. The search area this time was even larger, it could be said to cover every inch of the city, all channels and routes were activated. Unfortunately, after searching for an entire afternoon, they still did not find anything by night. The people from the Shi family had no idea. After Su Jingxing settled Lin Tuotian down, he immediately rushed to the Green Cloud mountain range to find the big white goose to lead him to two other places where worldly energy was abundant. He had taken leave for the next few days. For the sake of the duel, Su Jingxing had calculated and planned everything. The time that Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, Xiao Qingyue, and the others could buy was limited. If he wanted to defeat everyone, Su Jingxing had to rely on himself more. Therefore, his 72 years of true energy cultivation was insufficient. It had to be at least 100 years. 100 years of cultivation, 3 true energy cards, together with the true energy card he extracts during the duel, should be enough for Su Jingxing to defeat everyone. Of course, if Su Jingxing were to encounter a situation where he would certainly die, he would not force himself to hold on and would decisively retreat. He was keeping a true energy card till the end. If he couldn't defeat the other party, he could just flee. In order to prevent his true identity from being exposed, Su Jingxing had already gone to the black market to buy a specially made human skin mask with better effects and disguised himself as Yang Jian again. Su Jingxing would only go on stage when his route of retreat was ready. The purpose of raising his true energy cultivation to 100 years was to increase his chances of success. Given the might of the 9 steps trampling heaven, Su Jingxing could continuously absorb worldly energy day and night, converting it into heaven trampling true energy. This was something that other martial artists could not achieve, dared not do, and could not do. Every advanced internal exercise had its own unique characteristics. The characteristic of 9 steps trampling heaven was that it could be stacked infinitely. With other internal exercise, martial artists could either absorb worldly energy for only half an hour or take 10 days to half a month for conversion. If the conversion speed was fast, the absorption speed was slow, and vice versa. Or perhaps the martial artist's bodes would be unable to withstand a prolonged infusion of worldly energy. After all, not everyone was Su Jingxing. His physical body had reached the limits of the human body. All of these factors combined resulted in Su Jingxing being able to continuously absorb worldly energy for more than 10 hours without stopping. This was also the reason why his true energy cultivation could be improved so quickly. The last time, in the Valley of the Big White Goose, he had absorbed worldly energy for more than half a day and added 50-odd years to his cultivation. This time, under the lead of the Big White Goose, they came to another place filled with worldly energy. Su Jingxing used one night to increase his cultivation by 30 years. Together with what he already had, his true energy cultivation had reached 102 years. 100 years of cultivation, successfully achieved. Without any delay, Su Jingxing, who had achieved his goal, swiftly returned to Qinghe City and went straight to the location of the duel. Qinghe No. 1 Martial Arts Arena. The entire arena was even larger than the bird's nest. It could accommodate 100,000 people at one time. In the center of the arena was a 2-meter-tall, 100-meter-wide alloy ring. Around the ring, there was a special transparent barrier that was 60 meters tall and 3 layers tailored transparent barriers made of bulletproof glass. In a battle between martial artists in the middle ranks, if there were no precautionary measures and true energy was released externally, few ordinary people would be able to remain seated. Qinghe No. 1 Martial Arts Arena did very well in this aspect. Other than watching it live, a live broadcast of this duel would also be available on television channels and the internet. When Su Jingxing arrived, he just happened to hear Li Linzhou announce the start of the match and invite both sides to the ring. On the Lin family side, it was naturally Su Jingxing who had taken the position of a guest elder. The Shi family was represented by 6th-grade martial artist called Shi Jinyong. Shi Jinyong was the most furious when the Lin family forced the Shi family into a duel. Originally, he had planned to be the first to go on stage and kill the people of the Stone Annihilation Alliance until they were afraid and break their spirits. Unexpectedly, in the first round, Su Jingxing, the 4th-grade expert who was wearing a cloak and a mask, had come on stage. Shi Jinyong was flustered at once. He was only in the 6th grade. How could he be a match for a 4th-grade martial artist? However, now that he was already on the stage, there was no other way except staying alive that would allow him to return. Helpless, Shi Jinyong could only try to recruit this expert. "Senior, you can actually join." Swoosh! The glint of a blade flashed, and the head fell. Before Shi Jinyong could finish his sentence, he had gone to see his ancestors. Beijing National Stadium. He extracted a card. Su Jingxing did not even glance at Shi Jinyong's headless body. He turned around and said coolly to Li Linzhou. "Next." Silence. The entire arena fell into dead silence in this moment. What speed! Too fast. Not a single one out of the 100,000 people in the audience got a clear look of Su Jingxing drawing of his saber. Especially Su Jingxing was 10 meters away from Shi Jinyong. 10 meters away, Su Jingxing chopped off Shi Jinyong's head with a single slash. What kind of saber technique was this? What realm was he in? Silence. The arena remained in silence for more than half a minute. Whoosh! Only then did a huge commotion break out in the huge arena, one wave louder than the previous, hitting the dome. On the left and right sides of the arena, there was a large display screen that allowed the audience to see the movements of the martial artists in the ring. But this time, they did not see anything. Everyone was shocked. Is this what it means to be in the 4th grade? That's formidable. It's not just formidable, it's simply inconceivable. That slash just now was too fast. Huh, good job, good job. Everyone from the Shi family deserves to die. TSK, the Shi family is probably at a loss now. The Lin family has sent a 4th-grade expert right from the start. Are they going to send a 4th-grade martial artist next? That's for sure. Are they going to send a 6th grade or 7th grade instead? Even if they wish to tempt fate, this is not the way to do it. On the spectator stands, the crowd was excited, and discussions could be heard endlessly. In the VIP seats, the Li family members listened to the heated discussion with bright smiles on their faces. Hee, let's see how Shi Jinyan deals with this. That's right. The Lin family, they sent their ace from the get-go. The 4th-grade martial artist is the first to go on stage and killed Shi Jinyong with one strike. If the Shi family doesn't fall in step, there's no need compete anymore. They will just be sending themselves to their doom. Truly ruthless. Lin Tuotian endured humiliation and borne a heavy load for 30 years. This time, he's clearly bent on killing the Shi family before he can bring himself to face his ancestors again. Wang family's area. The tall and burly Wang Taidao was holding a fair-skinned and incomparably handsome man. She slapped his thigh and shouted excitedly, "Good, good, good. This brother is too handsome. I like him." "What's wrong, brother Dao? Have you taken a fancy to someone else again?" The handsome man in her arms whined softly with a pout. "Of course. Isn't it normal for women to like a man like him?" Wang Taidao had a yearning look on her face. She licked his lips and said, "When the duel is over, I will propose to him." Zhou family's area. Ha, that old thing Shi Jinyan wanted to drag the Zhou family down with him previously. Now look at this, the opponent has sent a 4th grade expert from the start. Let's see how he deals with this. What else can he do? Of course it'll be to send a 4th grade martial artist too. They have roped in over many 4th grades these few years. Are you serious? How come I didn't know that the Shi family managed to win over several 4th grades? Isn't 2 several? Isn't 3 several? Qi family's area. See, I said that it would be fun to watch it live. How is it? It was a good show from the start. It's indeed a good show. But I'm more curious about where this masked fellow popped out from. The 4th grade experts in Qinghe City are people that everyone knows. Where did he come from? Is there a need to ask? Of course he's from another city. Or perhaps he used to be from Qinghe City but was persecuted by the Shi family and forced to leave to another city. He only came back to take revenge on the Shi family after he had rose to the 4th grade. Your analysis is quite reasonable. It's a shame if you don't become an author. Get lost. In the family clan waiting area on the left. Haha, good, good, good kill. Xiao Qingyue jumped up and cheered. What fierce tigers of the Shi family. His head was chopped off by the legend with just one slash. Fierce my ass. It's best if he can finish one with one strike for all the subsequent matches. Zhang Jun clapped his hands and said. It's not that simple. Jiang Tianhao said in a low voice, this Shi Jinyong is only a 6th grade martial artist. Given senior's cultivation level and strength, he will naturally be able to finish him off in one strike. When the Shi family also sends out a 4th grade martial artist, it will be difficult for senior to succeed again. Yes, it's still unknown right now. Shen Qian echoed, once senior shows signs of exhaustion, we'll go on immediately. Understood. Don't worry, Sister Qian. The people around responded in agreement. Sitting in a corner, Lin Tuotian also clenched his fists, his eyes shining brightly. Killing Shi Jinyong with one slash. Not enough, it's far from enough. In the family clan waiting area on the right. Everyone from the Shi family fell silent with unsightly expressions. Shi Jinyong's head had been chopped off. It was an incredibly arrogant and bold act. This hidden 4th grade expert was completely disregarding the Shi family. They had only just started and he was already going on personally. Patriarch, I'll go meet him. A brawny old man with a bald head broke the silence and said, the other party specializes in swift saber techniques. My tough technique is perfect for countering it. Okay. When Shi Jinyan heard that, he said in a low voice, then I'll have to trouble Mr. G. What trouble is this? It just so happens that I also want to test the might of my newly learned light palm. The bald old man grinned and rubbed his head. He stood up and walked towards the ring. Fast saber. Heh, if you can't break my golden body barrier, what's the use of being fast? As he spoke, he pushed off the tip of his toes and leaped into the air. He flew into the open entrance, landing in the ring. Next, Shi family, Ji Min Lin family, Stone Annihilator. Li Linzhou shouted in good time, the duel continues. Ha, no matter who you are, it's not easy to reach the 4th grade. You can only blame your bad luck for meeting me today. The bald old man Ji Min rubbed his heads and grinned sinisterly at Su Jingxing. The so-called Stone Annihilator was naturally Su Jingxing's code name. In a family clan duels, guest elders and guardians could go on stage. When they do, they could use their real names or code names. Most people would not call them by their code names. As the Shi family's guardian and a 4th grade expert, Ji Min naturally wouldn't do so either. The moment Li Linzhou announced the start of the battle, Ji Min immediately circulated his martial art. Protective true energy shrouded his body, forming a golden protective layer that could be seen with the naked eye. In the next moment, he stomped his feet on the ground. True energy also surged around his hands and began to form palm imprints. Light palm. Boom. The air exploded. Ji Min's body moved like lightning, carrying a terrifying aura as he pounced towards Su Jingxing. As he flew through the air, 2 metallic-colored palm imprints shot out towards Su Jingxing. Swoosh! Whoosh! Su Jingxing's figure flickered as he moved swiftly. He executed the 8 steps rising dragon, his speed was pushed to the fastest. Not even an afterimage was left behind. The golden palm imprints missed and landed on the barrier, causing the entire barrier to shake. Where do you think you're going? Ji Min growled. His eyes shone brightly as he sensed his surroundings. All of a sudden. Boom! The air in front of him exploded and energies danced. Swoosh! However, a dazzling saber beam bloomed behind him. Su Jingxing held the treasure weapon in his hand. With 100 caddies of strength, he slashed down at Ji Min's neck. Clang! A ring reminiscent to the clashing of metal echoed throughout the place following a burst of sparks. Under the immense force, Ji Min was pushed forward and almost fell down in the ring. Still, he managed to prop himself up with both hands on the ground in time. His feet kicked the air, and he had to roll over repeatedly before he managed to disperse the force and regain his balance. The mark on the back of his neck could be seen clearly. The corresponding area of the golden protective layer was blurry. Blocked. This was the first time someone had forcefully resisted Su Jingxing's 3 origins saber art head-on. It could only be said that the true energy internal exercise that Ji Min cultivated was too strong in defense. A pure defensive true energy and perhaps, a tempered body as well. If his physique was not strong, even with the protection of the layer, that massive impact of the earlier slash could still shatter his bones and break his neck. Now, Ji Min was still standing and only grimacing in pain. This showed how strong his physique was. Even if he hadn't reached the limits of the human body like Su Jingxing, he wasn't far off. Stealing refinement. Su Jingxing thought of a kind of martial arts. One that specialized in tempering the body and focused on resistance and defense. Such martial arts might not have strong offensive power, but in terms of endurance, resistance to attacks, self-healing, and defense, they could be said to be invincible. When one cultivated to the highest level, practitioners wouldn't even fear being bombarded by shells. Just like the current Ji Min, his protective true energy was released externally and shrouded him like a golden body layer. Even if Su Jingxing were to exert 100,000 caddies of strength, he would not be able to break through his defense. Of course, such defense was not permanent. It could not be maintained for long. It consumed a lot of true energy. As such, after a brief period of shock, Su Jingxing decisively continued to move quickly. His body flashed and Ji Min couldn't touch him. Su Jingxing seized the opportunity from time to time and hacked at Ji Min's head, neck, and back. Upwind single slash. Sweeping river army slash. Ascending dragon overlord slash. Swish. 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 Clang. 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 The sounds of metal clashing accompanied by saber beams resounded non-stop in the ring. Interesting, very interesting. One has powerful defense, while the other has impressive movement techniques. Neither can do anything to the other. At this rate, to decide the victor, we'll have to see who has more true energy. That's true, but the defense of the Shi family's guardian is too insane. Hee, aren't you all blind? The guest elder of the Lin family hasn't circulated his true energy up till now. He has been using his physical strength all this while. F***ck, that's true. There are only saber beams but no saber energies. The physical strength of this fourth-grade powerhouse is probably tens of thousands of caddies. The spectator stands were in an uproar. Compared to Ji Min's terrifying defense, Su Jingxing's physical strength was equally shocking when discovered. Coupling his pure physical strength with martial arts, he forced Ji Min to retreat from time to time. Not many people possessed such capabilities. Ji Min had met his match. Not only was his movement technique formidable, his movements were swift, agile and unrestrained. His body was full of physical strength. If it was not tempered body then it must be innate divine strength. When the two were matched together, he might be able to defeat Ji Min without using true energy. With this thought in mind, the expressions of the Shi family grew increasingly grim. Meanwhile, Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, Xiao Qingyue, and the others cheered excitedly. The Li, Zhou and Qi families watched excitedly. In every corner of Qinghe City, the people watching the live broadcast on televisions and the internet were also amazed. They stared unblinkingly. Both of them were fourth-grade martial artists, and each of them had their own means and special abilities. Who would be the final victor? Clang! 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 The sound of metal clashing was still coming from the ring and echoing throughout the arena. Stop right there. Stop right there. If you have the guts, fight me face to face. Ji Min shouted angrily as he writhed. Although Su Jingxing wasn't able to break through his defense, every time his saber struck the protective layer, the rebound of the immense force was transmitted to his body. It was still very painful. He was in so much pain that his veins were bulging, his eyes were bloodshot, and his hands were trembling. He wanted to vent his anger, but Su Jingxing wouldn't fight him head-on, forcing him to roar and provoke Su Jingxing. Naturally, Su Jingxing would not let him have it he wished. Within a short period of time, he had enough strength for use. At the same time, he searched for the door to Ji Min's shield in his growing frustration. With martial arts like stealing refinements, unless one reaches godlike mastery, there would be one or two spots that he could not attend to. That was where the weakness, the door was. Where was Ji Min's weakness? Eyes? Underarms? Or crotch? Su Jingxing started to test each spot one by one. First, the crotch. This part was often the easiest to ignore and the hardest to cultivate. Thus, in a flash, the treasure weapon in his hand swung towards Ji Min's crotch. Despicable. Ji Min gritted his teeth and snarled angrily. His bald head suddenly lit up at this moment. It was not a figurative description. It really radiated light, like a light bulb. In the blink of an eye, beams of dazzling lights shot out. Su Jingxing was the first to bear the brunt of the attack. He subconsciously narrowed his eyes and stepped backwards. Who? But a gust of wind suddenly appeared and swept towards him. Swish! Swish! Su Jingxing shifted his body and dodged the attack quickly. Boom! However, not only did the wind not dissipate, it instead became even more intense. Like a hurricane, it created an explosive sound as it brushed against the air. This time, Su Jingxing got a clear look. Ji Min. This bald fourth-grade expert was currently emitting golden light all over his body, and his head was the brightest spot. Placing his hands tightly on his thighs, he stood upright. Like a projectile, He used his body as a weapon, chasing him, charging forward with his head bowed. Who? 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 Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Su Jingxing moved quickly in front, changing his position. Ji Min, whose head was glowing, was like a missile that locked onto Su Jingxing from the start and chased after him. The two of them had suddenly switched positions. Previously, it was Su Jingxing who chased after Ji Min. Now, it was Ji Min who was chasing after Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing also retaliated. He swung his blade at Ji Min's head. However, apart from the clanging of metal, there was not even a single spark. Clearly, in Ji Min's current state of charging like a cannonball, his defense had become stronger. Unless Su Jingxing erupted with 100 years of cultivation and used the maximum of 100 steps raining fist, he really could not do anything to him. The problem was that if were to expend his true energy this early, how would he continue fighting subsequently? In Wan Rong's memories, the Shi family had more than 2 fourth-grade guardians. In Nie Rencho's memories, there were more than 2 fourth-grade members in the Shi family itself. In other words, apart from Tang Wulin and Ji Min, the Shi family had at least 3 other fourth-grade powerhouses. If Su Jingxing were to use up a large amount of his true energy now, how could he go up against the remaining fourth grades? Was he really going to escape when that happened? No. Su Jingxing was indignant. Ji Min's condition would definitely not last long. It was still the same. Such an attack consumed too much energy. Ha! The guest elder of the Lin family is such a drama king. In the VIP area, the people from the Li family couldn't help but laugh out loud as they watched Su Jingxing being chased around the ring by Ji Min. That's right. He had the upper hand before, but now it's his turn to run. It's too early for you to be gloating over his misfortune. Even though this guest elder of the Lin family is dodging, he still hasn't used his true energy. That's right. This unique technique that Baldy G has consumes an extraordinary amount of energy. He won't be able to hold on for much longer. When his true energy is exhausted, it will be his time to die. That may be the case, but if Baldy G catches up to him, the Lin family's guest elder will definitely die too. Agreed. I heard that Baldy G's sky rocket cannon can even kill a 3rd grade. Ha, only you would believe his bragging. Chi family's area. Sky rocket cannon. I didn't expect Baldy G to use his ultimate skill so quickly. He really had no other alternative. Otherwise, what should he do? He can't just stand there and let the guest elder of the Lin family hack at him, right? The sky rocket cannon is powerful enough. Unfortunately, movement techniques of the Lin family's guest elder is also very formidable. Baldy G only has a chance of winning if he catches up to him. A chance? Second brother, you think so highly of the Lin family's guest elder? Isn't that obvious? He hasn't even used his true energy yet. Baldy G has already used his ultimate move. That's true. Wang family's area. What a sky rocket cannon. This ultimate skill of Ji Min has not been used for almost 10 years. This time, it was actually forced out of him so quickly. This guest elder of the Lin family is amazing. Wang Taidao patted the handsome man's thigh and said excitedly. The handsome man's facial muscles twitched. He endured the pain and asked gently, Brother Knife, is this sky rocket cannon very powerful? Of course. Ji Min once blew up a 500-meter tall mountain with this ultimate skill. Few people outside of the 3rd grade can handle it, Wang Taidao praised. Ah, it's so strong. The handsome man cried out in surprise and opened his mouth. When Wang Taidao saw this, she couldn't help but pull him in and bite down hard. Zhou family's area. The Lin family's guest elder is amazing. Once Baldy G's sky rocket cannon is used, it will not stop until there is a death. It will continue to lock onto the target and its speed will become faster and faster. It has been such a long time, but the Lin family's guest elder is still running. He is leading Baldy G in circles. Impressive. I can only say that Ji Min met his match this time. He can't strike him nor catch up to him. Let's see how long he can last now. The sky rocket cannon can only last for 15 minutes at most before the user is exhausted. The Lin family's guest elder only needs to endure through this period of time and he can. F***CK. What's going on? An exclamation interrupted their conversation. The others in the surroundings were also wide-eyed as they looked at the ring. In the ring, after Su Jingxing dodged Ji Min's charge once again, he suddenly turned around to move behind him. Then, aiming at Ji Min's feet, he slashed down with his saber. Thud. Pft. A muffled sound, mixed with the sound of air leaking, suddenly resounded throughout the arena. Under everyone's gaze, Ji Min, whose feet were struck, suddenly trembled. Immediately after, golden protective layer on his body quickly distorted and water ripples spread. As more and more ripples gathered. Pa! A crisp sound echoed in the arena. The protective layer on Ji Min's body shattered just like that, turning into mist and disappearing. He found the door to the shield. Baldy G's golden body barrier has been broken. Someone exclaimed from the VIP seats. The others returned to their senses and spoke up as well, discussing endlessly. However, the situation in the ring reached a climax once again before the audience could get heated up. Ji Min's barrier was broken and his sky rocket cannon state disintegrated on the spot. Seizing the opportunity, Su Jingxing immediately circulated his true energy and infused it into his treasure weapon. He executed the human origin volume of the Three Origins saber art. Aiming at Ji Min, 3 slashes were released. Upwind single slash. Sweeping river army slash. Ascending dragon overlord slash. 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 Each slash was faster than the previous. Every one hit Ji Min, who no longer had the ability to protect himself. His skin was split and his flesh torn, fresh blood flowed and his bones broke. Finally, as Ji Min let out a furious roar, his head left his neck and flew high into the air. Hoo! Blood sprayed into the air. Pa thump. The head that fell to the ground made a strange sound. Following this strange sound, the entire arena fell into dead silence once again. Dead. Ji Min was dead. His head was chopped off by Su Jingxing and he died with his eyes open. This was not Shi Jinyong. Ji Min the Baldy was a 4th grade. A real 4th grade powerhouse. That he was killed by Su Jingxing so quickly, everyone present, be it martial artists or ordinary people, couldn't help but feel dazed. Including those who were watching the live broadcast in front of their televisions and online. At this moment, they were all deeply shocked, unable to extricate themselves. 4th grade. Some of the small group of the most powerful existences in Qinghe City had actually died in the ring today. The impact was too great. While it was shocking, it was also unbelievable. It took a while for the crowd to regain their energy. The entire arena was in an uproar. F***CK, F***CK, F***CK. It's too amazing. Shocking, impressive. He's a 4th grade. A 4th grade expert died just like that. Who is this guest elder of the Lin family? What's his name? What does he look like? Why is he so powerful? He can even kill a 4th grade powerhouse. Idiot, the guardian of the Shi family was killed because the Lin family's guest elder found the weakness of his martial art and destroyed it. Otherwise, the guardian wouldn't have died so easily. That's right, the point of weakness was actually under his feet. How did the Lin family's guest elder discover it? The spectator stands were in an uproar. Everyone seemed very excited and were shouting loudly. In the VIP seats, the Qi, Zhou and Li families, as well as Wang Taidao were also clicking their tongues. They felt pity for Ji Min's death and was amazed at Su Jingxing's sharpness. Ji Min had cultivated Golden Body Shield for decades. No one knew where his point of weakness was. Today, however, Su Jingxing had discovered it. It was right under his feet. This was truly fate. He was destined to die in the ring. The death of a grand fourth-grade expert naturally caused everyone to shout excitedly. Even Li Linzhou had a complicated expression on his face. His gaze on Su Jingxing was filled with an indescribable feeling. At the family clan waiting areas on the two sides, Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, Xiao Qingyue, and the others cheered excitedly. Lin Tuotian even burst into loud laughter, his face completely red. In comparison, the Shi family's side was completely silent. No one dared to make a sound. Ji Min actually died so quickly. A fourth grade died just like that. Shi Jinyan could not maintain his composure at all at this moment. His expression was terrifyingly somber. Ji Min was a fourth grade yet was no match for Su Jingxing. Who else could they send? It could be said that against Su Jingxing, anyone below the fourth grade who went into the ring would die. The problem was that it was impossible not to send someone. Li Linzhou ordered his men to drag Ji Min's body away. His gaze had already landed on the Shi family. If Shi Jinyan did not send out any more combatants, he would have to accept the scorn and disdain of the entire city, and the quiet besiege of the Li, Qi, Zhou and Wang families. Elder Lin, the Shi family isn't frightened by all the kills that Senior has made and dare not anyone else into the ring, is it? In the waiting area on the left, Mao Xiaomao, who was sitting next to Lin Tuotian, couldn't help but ask. No. Lin Tuotian said in a deep voice, if the Shi family wants to continue living in Qinghe City. No, if they want to continue living in Unation, they have to send people in and complete 100 matches. Why? Mao Xiaomao scratched her head. To be honest, I don't understand this family clan duel very well. Under normal circumstances, when they have lost a few matches or a dozen matches, they should cut the losses in time and give up. Why they have to persevere to the end? To die for nothing? Right, I don't really understand either. Hearing that, Xiao Qingyue interrupted, I looked up information related to the duel last night. I found that once the application for the duel is approved, it must continue until the end. It won't end until the 100 matches are over. Although this is a rule, isn't it a little too strict? What if the two families give up fighting halfway and choose to reconcile? Reconcile? Lin Tuotian smiled. Once the duel begins, there's no other way other than finishing 100 matches and having one person die per match. There is no other option. Why? Mao Xiaomao was wide-eyed. Shen Qian, Zhang Jun, and the rest also turned their heads to listen. Why? Lin Tuotian muttered. Then, he let out a sigh and said, because it's what other factions want, especially the royal families of each nation. Although royal families no longer have any authority and are only left with status, the cabinets are the same. What do you think is most important to the royal families and the cabinets? Stability. Shen Qian said seriously, to a cabinet, the stability of the nation is more important than anything else. That's right, stability, Lin Tuotian said in a low voice. To a royal family in a cabinet, nothing is more important than the stability of the nation. As for us martial artists, we just happen to be the most restless ones. Incidents involving casualties will happen from time to time. Today, you kill me, tomorrow, I'll kill you. No matter who wins, the ones who suffer in the end are always the commoners. I understand now. When Mao Xiaomao heard this, her eyes lit up. She analyzed, because martial artists threaten the stability of society, the royal families and cabinets are most willing to see a life-and-death battle between them. With duels being an amplified version, if two martial arts families were to kill off each other, it would be good for the stability of society. On the contrary, if we allow the two martial arts families to fight without any scruples, it will only cause chaos and panic in the city. Yes. Lin Tuotian glanced at Mao Xiaomao and sighed. In the general situation where stability trumps everything, once an application for a duel goes through, it has to be completed. If not, or if a family draws back midway, the two martial arts families will be cast aside by all the people and secretly suppressed by the royal family. With the royal family's tacit approval, there will be other sects and family clans willing to step out and encircle and suppress them. Right now, even without the royal family's orders and the cabinet is far away in the capital, unable to pay attention to the area, the various city guards and martial suppression offices will still secretly push for it, allowing other powers to encircle and annihilate the families involved in duels. In the end, the gains will be divided among the powers that have taken action. If the duel continues until the end, at most 70 descendants of the family clan will die. But if they regret their decision midway, then the ones who will die might be the entire family. Besides, if managed well, perhaps even the 70 people won't have die. At this point, Lin Tuotian clenched his fists tightly. Mao Xiaomao didn't see it and asked curiously, even the 70 of them don't have to die? Are the people in one of the family clans as powerful as senior and can defeat everyone? Yes. Lin Tuotian clenched his teeth. That year, the Shi family used this method to deal with the Lin family. I don't know what price that old bastard Scherzini paid, but he hired 10 fourth-grade martial artists to participate in the duel. Half of these 10 fourth-grade martial artists were mobilized to kill my Lin family's fourth-grade martial artists. Then, the remaining half slaughtered everyone else. Lin Tuotian's entire body was trembling, and his eyes were spewing flames. He clenched his fists so tightly that he didn't even notice that his nails had dug into his flesh. The frenzied killing intent emanating from his body made Mao Xiaomao stick out her tongue and she dared not say another word. Shen Qian, Jiang Tianhao, Xiao Qingyue and the rest were all silent. 10 fourth-grade martial artists. 30 years ago, the Shi family hired 10 fourth-grade martial artists to fight against the Lin family. No wonder the Lin family disappeared overnight. 10 fourth-grade martial artists went on stage from the start. 1 against 1, they could take down 10 of the Lin family's fourth-grade experts. The problem was, did the Lin family have 10 fourth-grade martial artists? No. Therefore, after the fourth-grade experts were killed or severely injured, the outcome of the remaining people were fated. Just like what was happening now. Against Su Jingxing, unless the Shi family continues to send fourth-grade martial artists, anyone else who went into the ring would die. How many fourth-grade martial artists were there in the Shi family? Would they continue to send fourth grades? Next, Shi family, Helian Shuezhen, Lin family, Stone Annihilator. Li Linzhou's voice sounded. At the same time, Lin Tuotian suddenly stood up. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he glared at a silver-haired old man who was flying into the ring. His voice came out from between his teeth. It's him. It's him. That old thing is actually still in the Shi family. Elder Lin, do you know him? Xiao Qingyue shrank his neck and asked softly. Of course I do. Even if this bastard turns into ashes, I can still recognize him. Lin Tuotian gritted his teeth and growled, Helian Shuezhen, old bastard Helian. 30 years ago, one of the 10 fourth-grade martial artists hired by that old thing, Scherzini. The beast who killed my father. Ha! Mao Xiaomao, Shen Qian, Xiao Qingyue, Zhang Jun, Jiang Tianhao, and the others were all stunned. In the next second, Shen Qian came to her senses. She looked flustered and said nervously, 4th grade? This Helian Shuezhen was in the 4th grade 30 years ago. Then what realm is he in now? 3rd grade? Impossible. Jiang Tianhao shook his head. If he is in the 3rd grade, why would he still serve as a guardian? Would he still stay in the Shi family? He would have gone to the capital or abroad long ago. Right. Let's not scare ourselves. Xiao Qingyue swallowed his saliva and said in encouragement, we have to believe in Senior. A martial artist in the 4th grade 30 years ago is not even a 3rd grade. He can definitely defeat him. Yes, he can definitely defeat him. Definitely. The others around spoke up in agreement. Even though all of them still looked worried. He was already a 4th grade martial artist 30 years ago. Even if he hadn't reached the 3rd grade, he was still undoubtedly terrifying. Not only was Shi family continuing to send experts, they even sent out such a powerful figure. Could Su Jingxing win against a 4th grade martial artist who had cultivated for decades? The Stone Annihilation Alliance, Lin Tuotian, the Li, Zhou, Qi, and Wang families, and all the others who recognized Helian Shuezhen felt apprehensive and expectant. In the ring. Friend, it's not too late for you to regret now.